So in the last tutorial, we built this page and I told you I wasn't really happy with the alignment of my text. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on Edit to edit this page. And that's going to bring me back into the Rich Content Editor. And I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to go to the text I was unhappy with, and I'm going to choose to align left. Now, let's say, obviously this is a very simple page, but let's say it was a far more advanced page. So I decided to add some text. So I say a beaker can be used to mix solutions, and then I say, and is sometimes called a flask. Okay, so this second part here that I've added is actually incorrect. Okay, so let's say before I add that, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to save this. Okay, so I saved this, I fixed the alignment of that text. We can see I'm happy with that alignment. And let's say at a later point in time I come in here and I change this text to where now it has that additional point that it's sometimes called a flask, which is incorrect. Beakers are not called flasks. They're glassware, but they are not flasks. Okay, so a beaker is not a flask. And let's say I've been working for hours and hours and hours, and after I do all of this I realize, oh my gosh, I made this mistake, I added this text. And obviously this is a very, very short sentence, it doesn't really matter. But you might have paragraphs and paragraphs of content, and let's say you make a mistake where you either delete text, you add text, and you can't remember what you originally had, and you save. Well, when you save, if I go back into edit now, I'm not going to have the opportunity to use my undo. If I use the undo, which I'm doing right now, Command Z on my Mac, nothing happens. It doesn't remove this text. So what options do you have? Well, let me click cancel real quick. I didn't make any changes, so I don't have to save. This is a cool feature that Canvas has built into Pages. So let's say that you had bricks of text here, tons of paragraphs. You accidentally deleted a very important portion to a particular paragraph, and it was between saves that you did this. Well, you can actually view the versions of a particular page. And to do that is very simple. You just click on the cog right here when you have the page of interest selected and choose View Page History. And that's going to give you a breakdown of every revision that has been made to that page. So notice if I click on the very first revision here, I have my text centered. If I click on the second revision, my text is aligned to the left, but is missing that additional point that I made that was incorrect. And then my latest revision, of course, is the one that I have with that mistake in it. So let me go ahead and click on the second option because this is what I want, and I'm going to choose to restore this revision. And so now, this page, whenever I go to look at it, is going to be based off of that revision that I chose. So I was able to restore that page based on that particular revision. So this is a feature that is only offered for Pages in Canvas, but it's really cool because if you put a lot of work into the page and you save it, and then you come back in a little later and you're not happy with what you did, you can always revert to that earlier version of the page. It is worth mentioning though that if you don't save, none of the content that you put into the page will be saved, and therefore none of it will be included in your revision history. So it's really, really important that as you're building content out, when you get to a point where you're happy with what you've generated, that you do indeed save that page. And that essentially will give you this nice page history that will allow you to jump between the different versions of a page. So that is page revisions. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit more about adding different types of files to our pages.